Building your own PC. Okay, let's be clear. This video will not show you step by step how to build your own PC. Instead, I will give you the information so that you can decide if this is a kind of project for you, and if so, where and how to get help with the actual process. For background, our main home PC was built by me. I'm an IT guy, but I'm also cheap. So why build your own PC? You can save money by choosing components, getting items on sale, mixing used and new hardware. You have complete control as far as customization. Upgrades will likely be easier or cheaper than for a pre-built purchase system. It's an interesting project for its own sake. So why not build your own PC? It takes some patience and a bit of reading and research. You're pretty much your own tech support if it does not work. You will be limited to a Windows or Linux desktop PC. Laptops or Macs don't really lend themselves readily to home builds. As an alternative, you can also save money purchasing used or refurbished computers. This can also open up access to laptops or Apple products. The very basics. Building a PC is a lot like building anything else. You assemble your tools and components, then put it all together. You do not need to be a computer whiz to build a PC. Computer knowledge required is actually minimal. There is also no soldering or anything like that, and there are plenty of materials online to guide and help you. You'll find many links below in the video description. You need to have somewhere to work. The kitchen table's fine. A few simple tools like screwdrivers and possibly pliers, plastic ties to keep cables out of the way, access to power, and decent light. The basic components of a desktop computer are a case to house the components, a motherboard, which holds and connects the other components, a CPU, or processor, which is the brain of the computer, some memory, a GPU, or video card, and at least one storage drive. Seldom a hard drive these days, usually some kind of SSD. The CPU will also need cooling. It will fry itself rather quickly without it. And while many CPUs come with a stock or factory-supplied cooling fan, some do not. For more demanding gaming-type systems, you can also get bigger, more powerful cooling fans or even a liquid cooling system, which I would not recommend for a first build. You also need a power supply to allow you to plug the whole thing in to give it life, which may or may not come with the case. You do also need a display of some kind and a keyboard and a mouse. Take a moment to think what you will be using the computer for. Is it just for surfing the web, checking emails, and watching YouTube? Will you want to play modern video games or perhaps do video editing or 3D modeling? These decisions will help narrow down what components you may need or want. I'm assuming most people will want to build a PC to run Windows, but bear in mind most of these can also run Linux if you're feeling frisky. If it's a basic PC, you may not need to install a separate video card or GPU at all. Some CPUs also have onboard graphics that work well enough for everyday tasks, and even for some light gaming. Using a CPU like this will still allow you to install a separate, more powerful GPU in the future if you wish. Speaking of CPUs or processors, there are two big manufacturers at the moment, Intel and AMD. Both offer a range of processors, both with and without onboard graphics. If you decide on an Intel CPU, you must use an Intel-compatible motherboard. Same with AMD. You must stick to an AMD-compatible motherboard. You cannot mix and match here. Personally, I typically use AMD since the motherboards and often the CPUs tend to cost less than their Intel equivalents with similar performance. This is just my opinion and my personal bias. Do your research and figure out which works best for you. Okay, I hear you say. You said you didn't need to know much about computers, but how do I figure out what components to buy? I'm not dumb, but I don't know how much RAM is enough or what CPU goes with which motherboard. How on earth can I make sure I'll get stuff that will fit and work together? Great question. Essentially, you can start digging in and doing the research online yourself, then go to YouTube and look up some hardware or computer build videos. Then use one of several websites that allow you to select compatible parts for your build. See links in the video's description below for more help. Building the thing. Work slowly and methodically. When you get your parts, check that they are what you ordered, or if not, will they still work with the other components? Keep your receipts. In particular, handle the CPU carefully by the edges. Don't have liquids where you're working. Someone or something will cause a spill at some point, and electronics and Coke, coffee, or beer do not mix. Don't ask how I know, just trust me. You typically should not have to force anything to fit. If it's not working, check if you're doing it wrong rather than break something. Give my creation life! Double check your connections before you hook things up and apply power. For the initial power on, smell for smoke. Yes, seriously. And be patient. Some systems may take longer to start the first time. Once the computer is assembled and will start up with no smoke or weird noises, you can install your operating system of choice. Basically, Microsoft Windows 11 or perhaps some flavor of Linux. While Linux is generally available free of cost, Windows can also still be installed at no cost at the time of recording this. You can download Windows 11 from Microsoft for free and use it without activating it if you wish. It will show a watermark and there are a few other minor caveats, but it's essentially fully functional. Summing it up. Almost anyone can build their own computer. It's an interesting project, can save you money, and honestly is pretty fulfilling. I hope this video gives you a bit of insight into the process and helps you decide if it's something you'd like to try. I wish you luck if you do, and thanks for watching.